Yesterday marked 9 months since police say two 17-year-old New Jersey high school students, Maria Niotis and Isabella Salas, were run down on their e-bikes and killed by a Jeep going 70 miles an hour as they were just on their way to get ice cream. Behind the wheel, allegedly 17-year-old Vincent Battiloro, who by some accounts was obsessed with Maria. You know, the New York Times reporting that Maria's mother told a friend she had called the police several times because Battiloro would park outside their house and refuse to leave, that he would harass the family online, even allegedly ordered pizzas to their house as this prank to entertain his tens of thousands of online followers. It turns out he was pretty popular on a gaming platform. Now, Battiloro was charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder way back on October 1st of 2025. But as of this Friday, we now know that Union County Prosecutor's Office are going to try him as an adult. In fact, it was the first time authorities ever officially identified him as the suspect in this case. He had previously only been identified through the traffic tickets that were issued to him at the time of the crash. A crash which, by the way, according to a criminal complaint obtained by Fox News, he denied ever being involved in, apparently telling detectives he'd been carjacked earlier that day by a man in a red mask. That is until his own dash cam allegedly showed otherwise. I want to bring in Brent Bramnick, attorney for Maria's family. Thank you so much for coming on. First of all, what is the reaction to the news that he's going to be tried as an adult?
Thank you for having me, Jesse. They're incredibly satisfied at that result. As you can imagine, it's been basically called being in limbo, not knowing what's going on. And now we're here, and finally, they feel a bit of justice has been served, and now we can move forward in the adult court with obviously much greater criminal consequences and penalties, if convicted, than ever would be doled out in a family division or juvenile setting.
9 months since he was charged. Why on earth did it take this long?
So the waiver process, and I was a prosecutor in the Union County Prosecutor's Office. I handled waiver motions. There's a lot that goes into them. They have to make a written application.
And his defense was fighting this, by the way, just to be clear?
So again, it's all under seal, so
okay.
It's difficult to discuss the details, but I can talk generally about it, is that there is an application, and then there's going to be a response by the defense. And most defense attorneys are going to want to fight that, keep it in family division, keep it in juvenile court. Then there has to be a hearing, and you can imagine trying to schedule hearings. There's always scheduling issues. So it's not outrageous that it took this long, because it is a complicated process, and the state wants to get it right.
By the way, has he been in custody this whole time? It wasn't really clear where he was when this first happened.
So it's amazing how confidential the juvenile system is in New Jersey. That is something that really can't be discussed. But what is important is tomorrow. Tomorrow there's a detention hearing, because the first step after he's been charged with 2 counts of murder, he is now going to be brought before the court, and the state's going to make a determination as to whether to ask for him to remain in custody pending the resolution of his charges. And that will be an appropriate thing to ask for. And that's what the state will, we hope, do tomorrow. And then the defense will have an opportunity to ask not to have detention, but we'll see tomorrow.
Those are interesting questions. Severity of the crime, danger to the community, flight risk, prior record. What are your thoughts on the report that he allegedly told cops he was carjacked, but apparently the dash cam disputes that?
I do have the complaint that you saw, the probable cause statement. It is shocking to hear that this defendant alleged that he was carjacked when the probable cause statement, as you said, demonstrates that there evidently is a dash cam showing that that did not occur. But of course, that's simply a probable cause statement. As we know, everyone's innocent until proven guilty, and there's a lot to investigate. But it's pretty shocking to hear that allegation in that probable cause statement.
I was reading about it, and they basically say, allegedly, you could see him right behind the wheel, pause, wait. Do you see the girls driving by, and then picks up and follows them? I mean, that's the allegation. Now, I have to ask you, you heard me lay this out. If it's true that he was stalking Maria and was reported and police knew, is there going to be a sense of accountability here? Is there going to be any action against law enforcement? Should there be?
Well, I think as we've discussed previously, our office is here on behalf of the Niotis family, and certainly conducting our own investigation into that prior conduct, because there were 2 allegations of prior swatting incidents. One incident, which was the second swatting incident, where the juvenile was caught on scene, and his father came to the scene, and as we've discussed previously, was let go. We want to know why that occurred. We're investigating that ourselves, and we hope to get to the bottom of it. So we certainly hope there's accountability for any actions taken that we find out about.
How's the family doing? Other than learning this news about him being tried as an adult, how are they doing processing everything that's happened?
Well, I think obviously it's been incredibly difficult. I think this is a moment, at least a feeling of some justice, that this juvenile will be treated as an adult, but it's a long process. I'm sure, as you're aware, now the next step after a detention hearing is going to have to be the state seeks an indictment. If indicted, then of course the process of actually prosecuting the case, as well as potentially having to try the case. So the family is pleased as to where we are, but we have a long road ahead.
Yeah, look, once it's a determination of it's an adult or juvenile court, it's still like the beginning of the process. Like you say, he is innocent unless proven guilty, but these are really heinous allegations, and it's a devastating loss for both families. Brent Bramnick, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.